Hi there, just got a quick video here for Woody. I'm just showing you some of these labels, Woody, that you're after. These are quick aluminium labels that I do out of the backs of soft drink cans. This one, as you can probably see, has been here for almost a year now. It's one of those ones where the writing has been indented into it and then a Sharpie marker has gone across the top of it. If you look on the back, you can see the sort of indentations there where it's gone through. Now over time the ink itself and the writing will fade, but the indentations in the aluminium will last. This one also illustrates the idea of bending over the end so that you get like a double thickness where it attaches to the tree itself, and that means that in my experience these last a lot longer. Actually, just another good idea for quick and quite long-term labels is these are Venetian blinds, old pieces of Venetian blinds. If you cut them down and then just pencil them, the actual pencil will last a very long time just by itself. This is a label for a plum that's been grafted last season, so that's lasted a whole year outside and looks fine, still totally readable. I do replace them with the aluminium labels though, so that's something to bear in mind. They certainly aren't permanent, but they last for a very long time. Okay, here's a much older label sitting on a plum tree. This is a whakapira or gold plum on peach rootstock. You can see it's been here quite a while. You can see the indentations on the back, and definitely along here you can see the ink has started to fade. But again, this one's probably around sort of 3-4 years old. It's still totally readable, and even when the ink disappears, the label will still be sort of permanent. Don't know how well that's going to come out actually, but that's some wasps eating a rotten Coast golden drop plum. There's a few more other wasps. I think it probably better illustrates the damage that wasps can do getting into your plums if you're not careful. Probably should do more of Stephen Hayes's wasp traps, but these seem to do they do quite a lot of damage, the wasps, if you leave them. Okay, this is probably one of the older labels I've got. This one's probably around 4 to 5 years old. I don't know how readable that is, but this is a Coast golden drop plum. The label again is aluminium. Originally it was inked, but now it's that's all faded. But it's still readable through the indentations into the label itself. The back is faded where it was a soft drink can. But yeah, they do work well in practice. This one here has got the thinner piece at the end. I haven't folded it over. But again, it's still held in there fine. I've had to move the label itself a couple of times. These are just UV proof zip ties to hold it on. But in practice it does work well. Just a quick pan around the orchard, I guess. At the moment, so I do use those labels pretty extensively around all of the different trees I have, and they do work well in practice. I've got a new label which I'll show you now. See, there's a monarch butterfly flying around the apples here. I don't know if I'll be able to keep them in focus for you. Might not be able to see that, it's hard to know. So heading over this way, looking for some more labels for you, Woody. Here we go. These are in the apples now, obviously. This is a Foxwell on MM106. And you can see again, this is probably around sort of 3 years old. Also the label itself. Still perfectly readable, if you can tell with my terrible camera work. Again, indented on the other side. Just pressed down hard. That's just done with ballpoint pen. Probably one last one to show you, which will be a very new one, which I'll just head down here into the back corner of the orchard here. It's the old pig shelter. Heading towards the bananas. Those are high altitude sort of mountain bananas, largely from Samoa. So probably not the ones that you're familiar with. But I guess there's a nice contrast. It's probably one of my newest trees, which is a blackthorn or a slow tree. So this is a brand new label this season. Went in the springtime, it's autumn now. Again indented, and you got the folded over piece for strengthening the back. And again, this one's got the felt pen or the spirit marker on it to make it more legible early on while you memorise where the trees are, but that spirit marker will fade, but then you are still left with the indentations on it. And I guess that probably does it for the labels. Do a quick 360 and then sign off. Cheers, hope you found that interesting, Woody. Just found this one on the way back. This is Stoke Red cider tree. Quite a good crop on it, ready for harvesting at the moment. But it's got another really old label on it, and this one's actually faded quite a lot. Still readable, again, but the pen has completely faded. And but you can still make out the writing, no problem whatsoever. Depending on how neat your writing is, of course. Cheers. Okay, another quick one for you. This is my, I guess, scion library tree. So I'm just grafting on pieces of wood that I don't currently have a place for. I don't have enough wood yet to put out. So as a result, this one has a lot of the Venetian blind labels. I don't know if that's quite focusing, but you can see, around the tree, all those white labels you see penciled in Venetian blind labels that have lasted fine throughout the whole season. That one's a cane, which probably upside down, but it's still perfectly legible after a year. There's another one, Golden Delicious, totally readable. That's the mother trees label, which is probably a good illustration of if you do use the zip ties and you don't change them, they could girdle the tree depending on where you put them, so you need to keep your eye on that. Just going to show you this peach tree label, but the wasps are just all over this tree, so I thought it probably safer not to. But again, the amount of wasps on this tree is just crazy. I don't know how well that's coming out. This is a bay whiteflesh peach, which is a local sort of heirloom variety. Does very well here. But we had some heavy rain and then quite a lot of wind, so we had a lot of damaged fruit, which really brought the wasps in hard. Just found another one here. This one's also a year old, which is red nashi, called Reedy Robin. Relatively new tree, but you can see the felt pen within the indentations and label has remained very readable after a year. And of course, the greater the canopy of the tree itself, the better the ink will last, obviously, because there's not as much sunlight to fade it. Okay, cheers.